Thank you. Part 2. Let's go. Click through. Okay, we're at the dashboard. Yes, here we are. So this is the dashboard we use every morning to check all the players. With, of course, in first case, we want to see what's their status. So the status is immediately clear there. So for this player, available player, you have some ID about the playing minutes during the season. But of course, that's something we actually know. So it goes pretty quick in the talks. But you have also some IDs on the training data of the last 7 days. So then we come to the non-modifiable factors. Pretty easy sometimes. Age, it's pretty clear. Why we put this? Because we have in our squad, we have players that are 16 years old up to 36. So it's good to remind yourself that in a training session for the technical staff, we need to deal with players who are 16 and not fully grown, and 36-year-old players who maybe need some more recovery in their session. So it's an important factor. Muscle fiber, medical imaging, and then I will in a minute come to the injury history, which is pretty specific in our system. We have some details about their past injuries, so everything is there in one view. Then we have the semi-modifiable factors. We call them semi because it's the modifiable factors we can change from day to day, or they can change within the athletes. But these factors like body composition, if you want to work on body composition, we all know it takes some time to change it. The same with the blood. We do blood draws, and then we give them supplementation, but it takes some time to see the effect. With the details below, and then the same for the modifiable factors like the wellness questionnaire, sleep. With the trackers, you have data on the Nordboard, the force frame, counter movement jumps, and of course the GPS data. So there are some easy graphs available, so we can go through this dashboard pretty quickly for every player, and then we start the conversation. Now, to give you a little bit more detail, if in case we want to go deeper in the details for a player, like for instance the injury history, we created like a kind of penalty score for every player. For every injury he endures, he gets penalty points. So what we did was we took the OSIX list and we went through this list, and for every injury we awarded the score from 0 to 5. So for instance, a hamstring injury for a football player is a 5, of course, but like a broken finger, it's a 0. Unless you're a goalkeeper, then it will change, of course. But so depending on you're a field player, goalkeeper, it changes a little bit. But for every kind of injury, we had like a penalty score. And so whenever a player endures an injury, like this one, he has a rectus femoris strain. After the rehab, we are awarding him with 5 penalty points. And then from there on, it slowly goes down back to 0 over time if you don't have any more injuries. But of course, in this case, it's one with a couple of injuries, a couple of months later, a new strain. After the rehab, the scores go up again, and so on, because in this case, he had 4 injuries. So in time with your injuries, the score will go up, but the longer you stay fit without injuries, the score will slowly go down. And sometimes you have injuries if you have like cartilage damage, it cannot be repaired. Of course, this score will stay forever. You cannot get it down again to 0. After a while, we said, okay, we have a lot of new players. Sometimes from the former club, we get their injuries, so we can recalculate the score for them. But sometimes you don't have any injury information. And when you talk to the player, it's like a strange story about, maybe one time I had a problem at my ankle, and so on and so on. So we award new players a penalty score from the beginning, just to make sure, okay, there was something in the past, but we know not exactly what was happened before. So that this green line, which we added after a while. So that's for non-modifiable. If we go to the semi-modifiable, of course, body composition, it's pretty easy. You click through and you get more information because we put every player every week. We put them on a scale, and we check their body mass, their fat mass, skeletal mass, and so on. So we have a pretty good view on their body composition. And like I said, if you want to change it, it takes some time, but you have a good overview. Same for the blood. We check a lot of markers. If necessary, we give them supplements, and over time we check if there's something happening, if it's getting better or not. Within the modifiable factors, of course, these are the factors that we are dealing with daily, because of course they fill in the wellness questionnaire. Here you can see immediately with the colors, so it's pretty easy as well for everybody in the staff. So green, orange, red. You can see immediately within the wellness questionnaire if something is off, and then you can start talking with the players. We're lucky, the meeting room where we're sitting in is only glass, and that's the way where the players come in. So every morning when we're sitting there, we can immediately call the player in and start talking, communicating with the player. Some of them were Whoop. So we added as well a dashboard for Whoop. All the data of Whoop is coming in, and you can dive deep into the data, HRV, resting heart rate, anything what's on Whoop, we can see immediately as well in our system. Like I said, the wellness questionnaire, a little bit the same questionnaire as Katrina was talking about, but probably a lot of you are using this questionnaire. Again, when we click through within the dashboard, the players are flagged, which are have problems with mood, with stress, and so on, and we start the communication. Then our data of the valve performance tools, like we do every week, NORBOARD, force frame, and we do the jumps. So all the data flows into the system. Our strength and conditioning coach makes a report, whether we should change the program of a player, whether we would change maybe the rehab of a player. So everything is there. Every player has his own program and has the adaptations based on the testing scores. And actually, we use them very much because we did the research with all this data and with all our injuries from the past. I think it was a database of 5 to 6 years of injuries within the club. With the help of the University of Antwerp, they put their machine learning on the data, and we actually came out with a proof of concept where we could see that our testing data was changing already 3 weeks before injuries were happening. So of course, it's a first result, but we need many more research, of course. But there's something going on in this data even before injuries, and let's hope in time we know what exactly is going on and when something is important to notice. So that's something we will keep on doing and checking the players and look for imbalances and so on to see if the player is in a good shape and ready to go. Just hoping that we're not missing out on the exact moment where we should change maybe the program to avoid injuries. If you click through to the parameters of the GPS trackers, the load parameters, then of course we come into different dashboards, like you all know probably with the distances, with the speeds, with the accelerations and decels, the absolute values, but as well the relative values, which we always compare to our maximum gain values. So for every training session, you see all the colors, but depending on the training session, maybe the coloring of the total distance is important, but maybe in another session where you're working on speed, you watch to the color of the speed columns, and then red doesn't mean it's necessarily dangerous. It means that you are up to the level of a game. So when all this data is flowing into the system, whether it's via APIs, whether it's via the smartphone or the therapists adding something in the computer, everything is coming together. We do our calculations, our analysis in the system. We create some dashboards. Dashboards like this is for medical staff, performance staff, so they can go dig a little bit deeper into the details, but we make also very easy to understand dashboards for technical staff so that they know which player can play, which can train, maybe which player needs a modified program. So they can do their job as well, but with a very understandable, easy dashboard. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Peter, for that presentation. We're going to take one question, again, just to make sure we stick on time. So any questions for Peter? Fernando.
The reference. What did you use as a reference in order to weigh in the differences indexes? Because when you set up a point system or graduation or importance, it is kind of arbitrary. Like, what was your checking or double check for that?
That one is really based on experience. We have like 4 physios, and we went through with the physios and with the doctors through the whole entire list, and that's something based on experience. We love to have research and check our lists and to see whether we can change maybe some of the numbers, but that's really experience of our physios and doctors. Thank you.
Okay.